welcome to the SubHub podcast. I'm MK Sullivan.
And I'm Danny Moreno.
And this episode is brought to you by Neversecond. Neversecond is a system of fueling products formulated specifically for endurance athletes and provides a blueprint for success by allowing the athletes to test, optimize, and perfect their fueling and hydration. They take the guesswork out of performance fueling. Use code SubHub25 at checkout for 25% off your order.
Yes, and with that, we are so excited for you guys to join us today. Today we have Roberto DeLorenzi. Sorry, DeLorenzi. He's a professional runner for Brooks based in the south of Switzerland. Roberto was the 2022 World Skyrunning Champion. Wow. And is currently tearing it up on both the Skyrunning and Golden Trail World Series this year. Roberto was 5th at Sierre Zinal, 6th at Pikes Peak Ascent, and 3rd at Mammoth Trail Fest, along with 2nd place at the Dolomites Sky Race. And he is currently going into the final ranked 2nd overall. We are so excited to have him. Welcome, Roberto.
Thank you very much for having me. And yeah, I'm doing great.
Of course. How are you feeling after your trip to America? I imagine you've probably been home for like a week now, but still exhausting.
Yeah, I'm doing really, really great. The two races in America were really tough for me. I would say better than last year because I was also last year in the US and I was not so trained for altitude and I really suffered a lot, both of races, Pikes Peak and Flagstaff. And this year I was more prepared on altitude. I did quite a lot of elevation training, some 4,000 meters peaks here in Switzerland. And yeah, the races weren't really good. Pikes Peak 6th, as you mentioned, just a sprint finished for the 5th place. And yeah, and then Flagstaff 3rd place. I was a bit lucky with the 3rd place because I was 6th and then somebody get lost and yeah, good for me, but yeah, it was like a third place, not so deserved. Like, yeah. And yeah, I turned back 2 weeks now, not 1 week. And yeah.
Time's flying.
Yeah, 3 days after I flew to Spain to do another marathon in the mountains. So yeah, it was quite tough, but yeah, now I'm just training a bit last 10 days, hard 10 days before the final, and yeah, and then we'll see there.
Yeah, you ran Ultra Pyrenees, right?
Yeah.
How'd that go?
Really good. I didn't expect so good because I after 3 days from getting back to US, I get another flight to Spain. Jet lag was quite good, but yeah, generally I was not so feeling super. But yeah, I finished 2nd. I was 2 minutes under the old record of John Albon. So yeah, really good. The Kenyan guy was faster than me, Robert boy. So yeah, was really fast. But yeah, I was also really happy with my results there.
Yeah, it was cool seeing you and Julia tear it up. Julia Font is also one of his teammates on Brooks. And she won and got the new course record. Personally, I'd like to think it maybe was an altitude boost. I mean, from the time you got to Pikes, you know, along with your fitness, you guys had probably been in altitude for like 3 weeks and not just like 6,000 feet or 1,500 meters. Like you were pretty much above 7,000 feet for 3 weeks straight with all of your traveling. But yeah, that was incredible and really cool to see you guys do that coming off of being in America. Yeah, just going back to these two races, Pikes Peak, you had a sprint finish with Joe Gray, who, you know, in America, he's kind of one of our OG goats. He'll go down in history as one of the best sub-ultra runners of all time as well. But how is it sprinting at 14,000 feet? Because I can't imagine like how fast that felt or if it felt in slow motion.
Yeah, like the last 10 minutes of the race, I seen in front of me more or less 1 minute Joe and also Danny Ozens. They were not going so fast, and also a camera runner said me, they are really struggling. You can pick them. You can pick up them, and yeah. So I tried really hard, and I was quite lucky to overtake Danny really at the last minute of the race. And I was there with Joe. I would say the last 30 seconds. I really give my best to reach him, and then I think with the snow was really hard to overtake. Also the trail is really narrow, and the rocks there with snow, I didn't have space to overtake him. Maybe with another another maybe more place I could have overtake him, but was really tough doing a sprint there. But I wouldn't say that it's more tough doing a sprint at 4,000 meters, or it's more tough doing a sprint at sea level, because they are the last 20 seconds of the race, so you are always doing pushing your limit. And it was really something special for me, finishing just with him, and a good improvement, and it was nice.
Yeah. A sprint finish is going to hurt no matter what, mentally and physically. So tell us a little bit about Mammoth Trail Fest. You were saying that it felt maybe a little less deserved because people got lost, some people got disqualified, but like still a really great performance. None of you guys were that far apart, even if you don't feel like maybe you deserved it. So tell us a little bit about that race, and specifically I want to know, like, how did Dragon's Back feel going up that, what was that, like 4 or 5 miles in?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I tried Dragonback a few days before with Remy Bonnet. We went up there to train it. So I in the race I already done it, so I knew what I was going to do. And like here where I live, I do a lot of really hard vertical training. So for me, it was not so steep. That climb was quite good, and I would say that day was really my day. Also from the start, I was feeling really good. My tactic was to stay with Eli Hemming, because I was like third in general. He was fourth. It was just a few points behind me. So I said, he's really fast in altitude. He had shown it the week before in Pikes Peak. So my goal was to keep to run with him, and then maybe in the downhill or at the end of the uphill to take a gap on him. And I was with him with other 3-4 runners, and we started really fast, because Remy and the Kenyan guys really went from the gun. And it was quite tough, the whole race, but I would say that also the 10 days before in altitude for sure was good for me. And after the first, I don't know, like 4, 5, no, maybe 5 kilometers, when begin the dragon back there, the steep part, I was feeling good. So I was leading the little group with the other 5 runners, and for me it was really good. And also in the downhill, lucky for me, Eli had some problems, so he lost some positions. And yes, I also tried the downhill a few days before, so I knew a little bit where to go, and I had also the GPX on my watch. And it was also lucky that Mika, the other US guy from Brooks, like came from behind, and he knew also the really good the course. He said me that he was there training a few weeks. So it was really, when I was a little bit lost, I didn't find the flags, I just follow him, and he was really running in the right direction always. So for me was good that I really never had problems. I would say never lost. Maybe I lost maybe 10 seconds once when I was alone, and then just looked right and left. But for me was good. But the other runners, like I already said, somebody many athletes get lost, and that's a bit a shame, but it can happen. It also happened at me 2 months ago in another race. It can also happen. It shouldn't happen in the like big World Series races, but it can happen. It's also happened to me. And I was leading the race with other 2 runners, and then we finished 7th and 6th. So can happen.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like that's always a tough place to manage, and you just have to keep going forward, regardless of which side of the situation that you're on. I think, like you said, we've all gotten lost at some point, and it's extremely frustrating. And I'll say for me personally, it happened like 2 times in a row. And then after that, I always check the course no matter what. And that's why I fly out to Europe early and, just make sure that that's not the case. But with that, like Roberta was saying, just a little bit of context with this Golden Trail World Series, these athletes are picking up points every time they race. So Roberto is a gamer because obviously he was pointing out that Eli was right behind him in the standings. So he was someone that he was looking at as well as he was doing these final 2 races. But before we transition to the final, we just really wanted to touch upon Dolomites Sky Race and Sierre Zinal, because those were very impressive and incredible performances that I think deserve their own time. The first one being Dolomites. So that was your first Golden Trail World Series race of the year. And going into that race, like I knew of you from Skyrunning and those results, etc. But the field was stacked with Stian, El Hussein, Manuel Marias, Frederick Thanchard, the list goes on. And you ended up second. So how did that race kind of play out? And was it the downhill that you overtook people or the uphill?
Yeah, yeah, I came that race with a really good feelings, really good feeling also from the races before. So I knew I was in a good shape. I knew there was a lot of really strong athletes, and yeah, my goal was to stay with them at the beginning, really to try that. And luckily for me, Stian and Eleusin went a bit faster in the beginning, but I was just behind with Fred, and the beginning were with Fred, and I just did my race all out from the beginning. I reached the top in 3rd place, and in the downhill, luckily for me, we were in a good group with Fred and also Daniel Pattis, another teammate from Italy. And we really helped ourselves to push maybe 5 minutes one in front and then another one. And then we pick up Stian like after 25 minutes in the downhill. And I felt good in the last 5K. Then Fred attacked Stian also, and I just waited a little bit. I knew because I already did this race like 3 times before this year, so I really knew everything, every meter. So I said the last 2 kilometers are really steep and but really runnable, and I attacked there. And luckily for me, I just dropped Stian and Fred and finished second. And that was my first race from of the season. And with that result, it was a really a hope for me to perform also well in the other races of the season and finish with a good final. And now I'm second before the final. It's really, for me, the plan was perfect.
Yeah,
Well,
it's so cool to come out with a bang like that. And I love how I feel this is more of a European thing, but you guys and girls always say attack, which I love. I don't know. I find myself saying like, oh, somebody put a surge or a move on me. But Europeans tend to be like, they attacked me. And I'm like, oh, that's so cool. It was so exciting. But I'm sure that had to be a huge confidence boost. I mean, you race against those guys all the time and you know how amazing they are. And I'm sure you had confidence coming into this year, but coming out with that result first bang, oh, that's so cool.
and then following it up with a 5th place at Sierre Zinal, like that's, I know you had run the race once before and gotten 11th, but to be 5th place at Sierre Zinal is insane. So tell us about Sierre Zinal a little bit.
Yeah, Sierre Zinal, I really prepared it quite well. I did a lot of also like flat trainings because the years before, I didn't train really a lot of flat. And this year, I also did that, and I really felt also in Sierre Zinal better legs, because Sierre Zinal is really, you have this really steep part at the beginning, but after you have like a half marathon, a really runnable half marathon, and you have to have really good legs there. You can't do the first 1,500 vertical meters and then be dead, because then the guys pass you one every 2 minutes. So yeah, the race, my tactic was to go fast from the beginning, but just to save a little bit of energy for the last 20K downhill. Yeah, downhill, a little bit up and down, and then downhill at the end. And I knew the course, I did it two years ago. And yeah, the Remy and the Kenyans were too fast at the beginning, but I really went with my pace and worked really well also that race. I was, I don't know, position 10, something like that in Chandolin, so at the half of the race. And then I pushed hard. I really left everything I had in the race, and at the end I finished fifth. I was really happy with that. I could maybe add that although 2 years ago I ran with road shoes, not trail shoes, that race, because it's really so fast and not technical, and I think it can really help to run with road shoes. Maybe the last 3Ks downhill a bit steep, not the best, but the first 27Ks is so runnable, so fast, that I used them in 2021. I used them this year, and both of the races went really good. So I think also next year I will run with road shoes.
I'm curious, what shoes did you run in?
So in 2021, I was with Vibram. So I ran with Nike Vaporflies. I
Okay.
had like a sole, a Vibram sole, but not trail sole, just
Yeah.
to have a bit more grip. And this year I ran with a prototype of Hyperion Tempo. No, sorry,
Cool.
Hyperion Elite of Brooks
Cool.
this year.
Wow. Maybe that's the move. Road shoes on Sierre Zinal. Love it. I mean, I will say for the viewers too, Roberto is literally a skyrunning world champion. So his proprioception and agility are maybe a little bit the most elite of the elite. But yeah, I don't think you would necessarily take a lot of time off by wearing road shoes, which is awesome. As in this case,
I have
getting
to
fifth
say
place.
that I struggled a little bit in the last 3K with that shoes, because it was really
It's
not
slippery.
so,
Yeah, it's slippery.
yeah. But yeah, for the first 2 hours and 20 was really perfect.
That's awesome.
But yes, I wouldn't recommend to all runners to run with
Everyone
road
wear
shoes.
road shoes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell all my competitors, you should really wear some road
Yeah.
shoes for the last 3K especially. So we're gonna transition to the final. Again, this is a shorter episode, so kind of skipping on more of the background and stuff like that we normally do. But for you won the Skyrunning World Series last year, and this year it seems like you leaned more into Golden Trail. I believe you're ranked 10th right now in the Skyrunning World Championships. Are you going to do both, or are you solely focusing on the Golden Trail World Series final and going to end your season there?
Yeah. So last year I didn't won the series, but I won the World Championships.
So the final race.
Oh, the
Yeah,
final
not
race.
the
Gotcha.
series. Yeah, not the series. Yeah. And yeah, this year my goal was really the Golden Trail, and I did 3 races of the Skyrunning, because you had to do 3 races for entering the final. So yeah, now my goal, my focus is really for the Golden Trail final in Italy, in Liguria. And after that, the week after is Limone, so the final of the Skyrunning. So yeah, really now the focus is really giving my best on the Golden Trail, and then I will also run the final of the Skyrunning. But my goal is really to perform well in the Golden Trail finals. If I don't perform so well, I'm a little bit tired from the finals in Limone the week after, it's not so a problem. So yeah, I will also do it, but focus Golden Trail.
So for the Golden Trail final, you are coming in, like we said, in second place. But as you mentioned earlier, there are a lot of guys that are like pretty close to you. You got Roberto has 520 points, Manuel has 516, Eli Hemming 514, Patrick 512. So it's a tight race right now. What is your strategy going into the race, and what do you think your strength is going to be for this course specifically?
Yeah. So my strategy is to go all out from both of the races. The prologue is 8.7K with 400 vertical meters up and down. So it will be like something like 35 minutes race. So yeah, there I will really give my best. I don't know if we will start 4x4 or all together. So if we will start 4x4, I will start with Remy, with Manuel and Eli. So yeah, stick with them and try to stay with Remy, that he will for sure be really fast in the uphill. And yeah, so for the prologue will be really going super fast. And then after that, looking a bit the ranking, how it is, and then just to stay, if I can, with the guys for the second race, for the 26K, to maintain maybe the second place. I know that Patrick, if he's really in a good shape, I wish for him, but I know that he will be really fast on this course. So yeah, I hope to stay with him maybe a bit. In the prologue, I think he will be really too fast, but maybe in the 26K could be possible. And as you said, we are really four athletes really close together. It will be a battle for these 4 places. And what I hope is really to maintain my second place. And because first place is quite impossible, because Remy he has like 80 points more, and he will be super fast also in the final. So yeah, the goal really for me is to maintain the second place, or at least staying in the podium. Fourth place would be a bit disappointing for me, but yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, no, I definitely get that for sure. And for the listeners, again, just a little bit of intel. So they have the prologue, which is half points of the normal season. And then the race itself, the final, is double points. And both on the men and women's side, the people that we're interviewing seem to all be doing both, because this year's points are so close, as we just mentioned. So I definitely think that's the move. I think you'd kick yourself later if you don't at least try the prologue. Well, Roberto, this has been incredible. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll be cheering you on, hoping that you also stay on the podium, because that would be an incredible finish to already what has been an incredible season.
Yeah, thank you very much, and thanks for having me. And I hope also to do well in the finals. Thank you.
This has been the Sub Hub, brought to you by Freetrail. Just a reminder for you guys that this episode is brought to you by Never Second. Check out the show notes for a link to their website, their Instagram page, and use code SUBHUB25 at checkout to get 25% off of your purchase.